Good morning. Welcome to the Mohawk Valley Sportswatch. Thanks for making us part of your Sunday morning here. Bright and early with Coach, myself, Rocky Criglano. I'm excited to bring you another local fun show. Good to have the Mohawk Valley Sportswatch back. This morning, in a little bit, in just a few minutes, we'll talk to head men's hockey coach at Utica University, Coach Gary Heenan, coming off a 5-2 win last night at home at the Odd. We were there. My wife and I and the kids were at the game last night. They won 5-2 against Brockport, and hats off to Coach Foz. I watched that entire game on my phone last night. They came from behind to beat Brockport at Brockport in a heavy rainstorm last night, 28-20. So I'm waiting to see. I've heard some things on Twitter that they might be on the outside looking in, or they didn't get into the field. It would be an awful shame if Utica didn't find their way into the NCAA tournament. But I'll wait and see. I'll see if it's official. I'll see if I can get a hold of Coach Foz today. But hats off to him. What a great season. And I'll be looking forward to talking to him again next week right here on the Mohawk Valley Sports Watch. So at the bottom of the hour, we're going to talk some RFA field hockey with Coach Mackenzie Welter. I'm excited to talk to her. I always say this, if there's probably another sport I know the most, but I still don't understand all the whistles, it's field hockey. So it's got a special place in my heart. Of course, I watched my sister play at RFA here, who they have the undefeated. I think it was either 20-0. She probably correct me. It was either 20-0, 22-0, and they went on to win a state championship. I don't remember exactly how many wins it was, but I'm sure she'll correct me at some point if she's listening here this morning. But it was a great year for Coach Mackenzie and the girls. We'll talk to her at the bottom of the hour. They finished 18-1. It was their third consecutive Section 3 title. So congrats to her. We'll talk more to her. I want to give a shout out to some of the local guys here for high school football. Games in action on Friday night, the 8-man championship, Morrisville-Eaton. I don't know if I would call it an upset, but I'm going to call it upset. They spoiled Frankfort Schuyler's chance for a back-to-back. Frankfort Schuyler last year won a state championship. Morrisville beat them 40-36 in the 8-man. In Class D, Lowville finishes 11-0. They'll move on to the regionals. They beat Powerhouse Dodgeville 38-20. And then our guy, Coach Schmidt here in Whitesboro, we'll have him on again next week. They beat East Syracuse Manoa 21-7 on Friday night in the Class A finals. And then yesterday in the Class C, we'll start with that. General Brown beat Caz. Those two teams have played each other so many times in the Class C finals, but General Brown 51-49 over Caz in Class C. In Class B, hats off to friend of the show, Coach Jim Kramer, the New Hartford Spartans. They finished the regular season 11-0. They beat Institute of Technology 37-14. So they will play next week as well. These games, I believe, are in Vestal. I think I saw that Coach Kramer is going to play Owego. I did see that, I believe. And then I do believe Whitesboro play Union Endicott. I believe one of them is Friday night. I'll have to look. I think Whitesboro is Friday night, and I want to say New Hartford is Saturday. But I'll get all that, and I'll post it up on the page later this afternoon. In Class AA, no surprise here. I don't think anybody's surprised to see CBA. No offense to Liverpool, who had a great season. They finished 9-2, but Christian Brothers Academy, they finished undefeated again in another Section 3 title. They win 27-6. So congratulations to the Section 3 champions as they move on. They'll play down in Vestal next week. Top 25 scores in college football. On Friday night, Oregon 42-13. I think many are forgetting about Oregon and the Ducks and Dan Lanning. I think they got a really good shot to make a deep run. They beat PJ Fleck 42-13. Tip your hat to Dabo Swinney. I know a lot of people don't like him. This Clemson team could have folded midway through the year. Not many times when you look up and look at Clemson in the box score and see 5-5. but they beat Louisville 20-19 at Louisville. Louisville had some missed field goals, I'll say, in that one. Ohio State cruises 48-10 over UCLA. Ohio State really probably won't get challenged, I don't think, until the Michigan game, if that. And then they'll play Indiana in the Big Ten championship game, which will be a really good football game, as Indiana won again 31-7 over Wisconsin. Texas A&M, I could not believe my eyes. This game was 30-3. South Carolina at halftime, and they ended up losing 31-30. Oklahoma, big win for Oklahoma and Brent Venables on the road at Alabama, 23-21. We'll see what that does in the SEC standings. We'll see what that does to the playoff rankings when they'll come out, I believe, on Tuesday night. Georgia at home over Arch Manning in Texas, 35-10. Texas Tech, 48-9 over UCF. Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin, all he does is win football games. But tip your hat, Florida played hard. Florida was in this game, much of this game. Ole Miss had 2 touchdowns late in this game to seal it. So Ole Miss will get a bye week next week, and then they will get the Egg Bowl for a chance to finish 11-1, and more than likely they could be in the SEC championship game. Notre Dame cruised over Pitt 37-15. Notre Dame will play Syracuse next week. Notre Dame more than likely is in the college football playoff, but we'll see what the committee decides. If Miami and Notre Dame are both sitting there at 10-2, Miami beat Notre Dame head-to-head, so we'll see what the committee does there. BYU over TCU 44-13. Utah cruises. They beat Baylor 55-28. As I just said, Miami, that's 8-2, they win 41-7 over North Carolina State. Georgia Tech on a last-minute field goal beats Boston College 36-34. It seems like a lot of the coaches that are up for these jobs were in close games this past weekend. Brent Pry, or not Brent Pry, I'm sorry. I'm thinking Brent Pry, the Virginia Tech coach, because there's been rumors that he might be the defensive coordinator for James Franklin at Virginia Tech, who just got fired by Virginia Tech. So we'll see how that plays out. And then USC, not many, I don't think, paying attention to Lincoln Riley. I'm going to pay attention to Lincoln Riley because I think USC's got a really good chance to beat Oregon next week and go to the football playoff as the 4th team out of the Big Ten. They beat Iowa 26-21. Michigan had to overlook 5 turnovers to beat Northwestern. Zavada hit a game-winning field goal late in that game. Michigan 24-22. Virginia 34-17 over Duke. Tennessee over New Mexico State 42-9. And how about the midshipmen of Navy as they beat South Florida, who was my pick out of the non-power 4 to make it to the playoffs. So now we'll see what the committee does there. Navy 41-38 over South Florida. And rounding out the top 25, Cincinnati falls to Arizona 30-24. So Syracuse will be back in action next week. They'll be at Notre Dame. We'll see how the Orange recover after a bye week. And the Cortica Jug, excuse me, the Cortica Jug 2 yesterday. Ithaca beats Cortland last night. Cortland had a shot at the end. I believe it was an interception in the end zone, and Ithaca held on. I'm not sure Ithaca's going to get in. Cortland's in the NCAA tournament after winning the Empire 8. They get the automatic qualifier. I think Ithaca, Utica, and a few other teams are on the bubble. And again, I didn't see the official announcement released. I'm hoping we'll see that sometime later today. But as of right now, I looked, Utica and Ithaca would be on the outside looking. If that's the case, we'll look to see if Utica gets an ECAC bowl game. But it would be a shame because I told Coach Foz this past week on the show, if they got into the NCAA tournament, I think they should be in. They would be a tough out for anybody that they see Utica on the line. So without further ado, let's bring on Coach Heenan now. What's going on, Coach?
What's going on, guys? Headed to the rink this morning. Got a recruit in we're really pumped about, but the work doesn't stop, and obviously we've got a lot of work to do. So work in progress.
Yeah, Coach, last year, I think last year, Coach, I caught you on the you were just getting done with a workout, getting off the bike, I think, last year. So this year I get you in the car.
Well, you're probably staring at the double chin, so I better get at the guy if you can. Yeah.
Well, Coach, let's talk quickly. First, congratulations last night. My wife and I and the kids were at that game against Brockport, so congratulations to you and the team on the win last night and getting off to a good start in conference play. But, Coach, I was following you guys to start this season. Man, you came right out of the gate with some tough non-conference games.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, we're pretty lucky to have that schedule. Um, we've done Adrian forever to start the year, and we'll go up there again next year. And Hobart just called and said, we changed conferences. We're looking for a couple new games, and we did a 3-year deal with them, not knowing we'd play them in the national championship last year. So they're great games. People are saying, "Are you nuts?" But it's our goal to be right in those groups and be a top 5 team and not be afraid of those games, but love them. So on the wrong side of those, I think we could have stole 1 or 2 of them. I think we could have won all 4, but I don't think we should have won any of them based on our performance. Um, but it is what it is, and now we've got to climb out of a hole. We're calling it the climb within our group. We've started that climb. We're starting to see, probably being there, starting to see a little bit of Utica and who we usually are, our identity. 13 new players has been a challenge. We're not at a point that I assumed we'd be a lot better at this point with the transfers coming in. So work in progress, not at a pace that I like right now. We're learning at a slower pace than we normally do, but that's the challenge ahead of us. And will we get there? I think we will. We've got a lot of work to do.
Coach, and you guys, obviously, I know your expectations is to compete and win a national championship. You've been to the game, you've been to the Final Four, and last year's team was special, and all your teams are so different. I know I ask you this question every year I talk with you, but how is this team different? Because last night when I'm at the game, I think your starting lineup, a lot of freshmen in that lineup last night. So how is this team different than the past year's teams?
Yeah, I think we have 3 freshmen, in our starting 21, and we started all 3 for both games this weekend as really a barb, to stick it to our upperclassmen who I think are playing really soft. I think that's been our major issue this year is that we're a soft team. Um, Maybe it's coming off the hangover of a successful season, but we have zero forecheck. We'll put the puck in and the puck's right out, and so there's no flow to the game. There's no chemistry. There's no heavy ozone time, and that's who we are: possession, play low, play heavy hockey. And so, I don't know. You might be right. We may have to play a softer style. Boy, would that really irk me, but. We may have to go, a little quote unquote traditional European style and open up, but I don't think that beats the heavy teams. And Hobart beats a very good Plattsburgh team 3-0 last night. I watched most of that game in the afternoon, and I mean they're the standard. So um, we've got to harden this team up, and that's what we're in the process of doing.
Coach, you do bring back some scorers from last year. You bring back some veterans, and what are you going to need from those veteran guys this year to help you get back not only to the NCAA tournament, win your conference, and make a deep run?
Yeah, and I think you're spot on. I mean, without those, there's so few of them. But without those guys playing like horses, um, it's just not going to happen. And I think those first 4 games, those horses we have were playing like donkeys, and it's been a lot of player meetings. It's been a lot of video, and shame on us as coaches. We really just thought we would be a lot better day one. And in the exhibition games, I mean, we played a Morrisville team. We looked like a heavyweight contender. I think it was more because of a weak opponent. Skidmore really humbled us. I thought we were flat. Just didn't show, which is incredible. Second game of the year at home. So it's a lot of sleepless nights right now. We're not even close to where we're going to need to be if we're going to even start talking about the NCAAs. So we're molding this team, and hopefully we can mold them into a Utica team that makes this area proud.
And Coach, talk to us a little bit about the goaltenders. Last night, Kyle was in net for you guys. You got a couple seniors, and you got a young guy in Frank Murphy, the freshman. But talk to us about the goaltender, some experience back, and a young guy.
Yeah, disappointing. Piros obviously with a family situation, didn't come back. He's obviously off to a great start, and he's just a phenomenal goaltender. So that's college sports today. Like, you never know, things are going to change. And we actually had another kid committed, and he bagged us a week before school started, a Quebec kid. And so Kyle had found out that there was a spot available at Utica and jumped over, and we're lucky to grab him at the 11th hour. And he's a veteran goalie that, in his experience, he has beaten Hobart. He's beaten the heavyweights when he was playing with Elmira. He's beaten us when he was with Elmira. So he was a welcome addition, a senior guy. So I think he's going to carry the load. We are high on Frank Murphy, a freshman out of the Toronto area. He's a real big kid. Adam Decker's got to just kind of shape up some of the little things with him. He's got a bit of a sloppy stick, but a big body that can be a blocker. And I think goaltending should be a positive for us. Didn't love them in those first 4 games, but same as with our team, they're getting there.
Coach, always a great day to be a Pioneer. Yesterday, the football team went down to Brockport, had a really big road win. Hoping Coach Foz they get into the tournament. I saw a few posts this morning saying they might be on the outside looking in, but you had a great football season. Men and women's hockey should be right there. Basketball season starts too. Great time to be a Pioneer.
Yeah, I think we watched the whole football game, afternoon game. We had that one on a screen as well in our office, and come from behind, great stuff by Blaze. And um, Sean Coffey's going to do a great job. We've flipped the script on our women's basketball team, same as our hockey team, with new coaches. So those women, I'm sure, will get those programs going. And a lot of questions around the college, right? And it's financial and well-being, and I assure you, leadership will get that on the right track, and we will remain a strong presence in this community and beyond. So a lot of exciting things happening, and I sure hope we can continue to carry a flag for the institution this year.
Coach, I know coaches don't like the individual accolades, but I did read a column saying you're pretty close to 400 wins, which there's only 49 coaches across all the NCAA that have gotten that number. You've had 12 conference championships, 5 conference tournament titles, 6 NCAA appearances, 3 Final Fours, 1 national championship appearance. And I know coaches don't like the individual accolades, Coach, but that's pretty special.
Yeah, I mean, 400, it keeps coming up, and so maybe that's why it is, and longevity, and it's just the one win I care about. It really is. And being overtime last year, and being a post away, fractions of an inch away, really, really drives you. I mean, those are the games you want in, and we've been in that tournament a lot lately, and it's got to be our goal every year, just with who we are and what we can offer. And so 400, we'll tip our cap to that. I'm sure I'll polish off a couple silver bullets that night and enjoy it. But it's to get back in that game and get the one win. And it's about championships. So hopefully we can continue to compete for those.
Well, Coach, love having you on. I can't wait. We'll talk again during the season. Best of luck. I know this team's going to get better as the year goes. You always do, and you always have these kids ready to play. So I appreciate it, and best of luck, and we'll be following you.
I appreciate it. Thanks for bringing the family down. Look forward to seeing you here again.
Awesome, Coach. Thank you.
All right, take care.
So that was Coach Gary Heenan, and Coach has been coming on with us for, God, I think probably at least 10 years or more since we've been doing the Mohawk Valley Sportswatch, and he'll have those guys right. It's a lot like football, the non-conference. Coach Foz played a really tough non-conference schedule. Coach Heenan's doing the same thing, and he's right. I mean, they could have easily won all 4. I think they took Hobart to overtime again, and then they lost another 1-goal game down there here at the Odd. And Adrian, they play every year. That's always really good. There were 2 really close games there too, so they'll be back. It was a great atmosphere last night at the Garden. The weather wasn't great driving down to the Odd, but it was a great atmosphere there. They always get a good crowd there. And I always say, and I always ask Coach Heenan this too, is a recruiting tool. If you're a hockey player and you get the opportunity to, you have the Nexus Center right there. You get a chance to play at the Odd, where obviously we have the AHL team there, with the Comets there as well. It's just a great facility for football. You got the dome there. That's a great facility. It's I think one of the only indoor facilities in the country for Division III. And it's really, really good hockey. Really, 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 really good hockey. And they're looking to punch, I think it'd be their ninth consecutive conference championship if they can win again this year. And I think they'll be right back there as well. So thanks to the coach Heenan. I think we got Coach Welter on here. Let me bring her on. Coach, you surprised me. You're a little early. I like it. I like it.
That's that's all good. I'd rather be early than late.
I'm looking. I'm like, she's got to listen to us talk hockey, which I'm not the greatest at talking ice hockey. I can't break ice hockey down. I probably can break field hockey down because I've been around it my entire life. I still don't understand the whistles, but I've been around it my entire life. But Coach, thanks for coming on with me this morning. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on board. I love this. This is great.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. We've been doing the local show here now for about 10 years. So everybody's saying, "Are you going to get Mackenzie on?" I said, I'm going to get her on. I had to finish football last week, so I didn't want to jinx it. You guys were playing earlier too, so that's why I didn't have you on in the morning. So, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to be here.
So, Coach, let's start. This was the third, I believe, your third sectional title in a row. I know every team, and I was just talking to Coach Heenan, and I always ask this question. Every team is different, right? You know,
Mhm.
going into a preseason as a coach, you probably got a chance to do something special with the group of girls that you had. But how was this team different than some of the past year's teams for you?
Oof. Well, I think that their on-field unity and the way that they played together as a team was probably the reason why we were able to go as far as we did and be as successful as we were. Those we returned every player from last year's team other than the seven seniors that had graduated, and we
Yeah.
added one newcomer, an eighth grader, to our team. So we had a lot of experience in terms of that postseason pressure and what to kind of expect once you get through the regular season. And the girls, after going to the state tournament last year, they wanted to get back there. They had that hunger and they had that drive. And every day they came to practice and they worked. They worked for each other, they worked with each other. And that's why it paid off for them in the games.
And Coach, when you win a sectional title, everybody comes for you, and they're going to give you their best shot. You're the team everybody wants to beat, right? So coming
Yeah.
into this season, winning a sectional title, get into the state tournament, was there any extra pressure on you as a coach and your staff, and even the girls coming into this season?
I think the pressure's always there, but it's whether or not you wanna pay attention to it or you wanna just focus in the moment on what you're doing and what you're trying to achieve. And yeah, I mean, we felt the pressure. We were like, "What if?" But that was a fleeting thought, and then it was just get to work. So, right from day one of preseason, what do we see within the girls? What are the strengths that we have that we can put together to put the best team on the field at any given moment? How could we utilize different strengths for different lineups based on what's being presented towards us in games? But then it was, what do we need to work on? And really it was about the journey and the process to get us from where we were on day one and just keep growing individually and as a team so that, our weaknesses got stronger and we could add more tools to our toolbox.
And coach, the rich tradition too with Rome Free Academy with field hockey goes back a long time, and I know you've been part of some of those teams from the past. And what's it like for you? You played here, right? And now you're coaching. You've won sectional titles. What's that mean to you?
It's, honestly, it's very humbling. And I was fortunate to have Coach Harjung as my coach when I came through. She instilled so many life lessons and, really talked about the tradition of RFA field hockey. And that has always stayed with me. So even though I went off and played at UVM and then coached at Hamilton for a bit, my goal was always to come back and coach for RFA field hockey to continue on the legacy that she had started. And with Kate Mastracco on the team, Rihanna Zapovigna on our staff, Cheryl Sauce, like they've all been a part of that. And Kelly Reese, even though she didn't come up through Rome, she played against Rome when she was at New
Yep.
Hartford. And so, that tradition and that culture, the legacy that was started so many years ago, just to continue that on and to be a part of it, not only as a player, but now as a coach, it means a lot. And I have never wanted to let Coach Harjung down. When I took over and she left big shoes to fill, but it's been great to be able to stay in touch with her and just to be reminded of like, why are we here? Why are we doing this? For the girls, for the program, and I'm happy just to keep the tradition alive.
Well, coach, talk to us about because I was looking through the roster and I was asking my sister earlier in the week, and I'm like, "Shan, she returns everybody again next year. Like our fate, like she's not going away." Like I always joke with the Notre Dame basketball coach, and his name's slipping my mind because I always say I got to get on that basketball staff because like Notre Dame girls basketball is so young and they're winning state championships, and I'm looking like your team. You only had two seniors on this team, I think, right?
Yep, we did.
So you had one sophomore, you had two freshmen, you had eighth graders, very young team coming back. But I want you, if you can, take a moment, talk to us a little bit about um, some of the young girls on this team that really made this team go. I know Sloan Sestito was one of them. Josie Suma was on that team, and then a sophomore, Alexa Ritchie's on that team as well. But talk to us about that young group.
Yeah, they are young, but they are experienced. Other than Josie, they've been through tough times. They've had to battle tough teams and opponents, and they're hungry. And that hunger, it shows in practice and their work ethic. It shows in their commitment to the team. It shows in their discipline. Yeah, I mean, our future is super bright. They all bring different skills and different assets, and we need all of them. Josie, she knows how to find the back of the net, right? She knows where to be at the right place, the right time in that circle to get that ball on her stick. Sloan, she's a playmaker. She can distribute the ball. We need that offensive push from her. She's the start of our offensive transition. We come up with the ball defensively to get that ball back up the field, which is why our attack was so quick this year. Alexa Ritchie, versatile player, but she just has the stick skills in those tight spaces, especially as that center forward, to be able to tip the ball around and to get that ball that she's fed into that circle for us to capitalize on. I mean, who else do we got? Chloe Reese, she typically a forward, but we dropped her back to mid this year because she was so fit. That hustle that she has, the never give up attitude. She really worked on her individual defense and she was creating opportunities for us in the midfield, both offensively and defensively. I mean, honestly, I could go on. Like, it's just the things that they can do. Really, it's more of the intangibles that allow them to be the types of players that they are.
And coach, talk to us a little bit too. So most of your games in the regular season, you had some lopsided games, and then late in the year, you started to play some really close games. And obviously, you get into the sectionals. You beat Liverpool 4-3. I think that was in overtime. You had a close one against Beeville, and then the Bethlehem game was 1-0. So talk to us a little bit about you had the games where they're a little lopsided, but your team found ways when it was a close game. They never seemed to panic, and that's something special because with a young group you would think the young group would panic, but as you said, coach, they had the experience. Does that help them late in the year like that?
100%. 100%. And at the end of the day, you can't compare regular season to postseason because postseason is a whole new season to begin with. And teams come out hungrier. So at the beginning of the year, we played Beeville and FM and Liverpool, and typically those are stronger teams compared to some of the teams we might play in the TVL.
Yep,
But they were still trying to figure themselves out. We had a leg on them because we came in pretty fit to begin with. We had the experience returning. We had an idea for the most part of where our players were going to fit into their lineups. We didn't have a ton to figure out early on, where other teams did. So we could capitalize on that in the games. But then towards the end of the season, teams are figuring it out. They've got their role.
yep.
They're, peaking at the right time. So we had some closer games because teams were able to then, take away some of our strengths. They were able to put a type of defense against us that forced us to have to make adjustments, which we had been practicing throughout the year to get ready for it. But until you're actually faced with it, you're not really sure what's going to happen.
Yep.
So were those close games nerve-wracking? Not really. For the team and for the coaching staff, we knew we'd find a way in the end. The question was at what point in the game. And hats off to the girls for not letting that tight atmosphere in the game and that environment to really affect them. They stayed focused, they stayed disciplined, they kept doing the things we were asking of them, and they never gave up on each other. So that's why we were able to pull away in those close games because it was because of them, not because of us as coaches, but what they did together as a team.
And coach, I always say in any hockey or any sport, really, you need a goalie that can make some saves for you in key moments. And your junior goalie Brooke Benson was phenomenal all year for you. Talk to us about the type of goalie she is, the type of player she is, type of person she is, because she was big for you guys.
She was huge, absolutely huge. She had some really big saves in critical moments against tough opponents. She had huge saves in the postseason that kept us in the game, kept us either tied or up by one. And for Brooke, she's hungry to win. She wants that next level. She's always pushing herself. She's always hard on herself, probably too hard as an athlete. Doesn't give herself enough grace, but she wants to stop every single ball. She wants to be the reason why that ball doesn't go in the net. And that hunger and that drive in her really feeds into our backfield. So it's not just, yes, she can make these phenomenal saves and these reaction saves, or stop a second or a third shot, but it's just how her presence radiates out into our backs and into our sweeps and our mids, so that we have all the confidence in the world. We know that if we break down defensively and somebody gets beat, that Brookie B's back there and she's going to be there for us. And I think that leadership, even though it's quiet, it means a lot for our team, because it means that we can play strong team defense, that we don't have to rely on just one player or another player to get the job done. Because at the end of the day, like, yeah, there were some saves that she wanted to have back for sure. But if that ball was right there on the line behind her, one of her defenders was there to knock it away and get that defensive save. So it really was a team effort. And I think that for her starting that and being that presence, and that leader back there, it's what we needed in tough times, but it's also I think a testament to her character, and just where she wants to go with her career.
So I hope I did my math right, and I know you'll correct me if I'm wrong, because most coaches will always correct me when I'm wrong. But
Probably not. I don't pay
I
attention to stats.
I think this was your, what, 11th year as the head coach?
This one was 10. Wait,
Okay,
10? 10.
was 2016 your first year?
Yes.
That's what I had to do. So let's just say 10 or 11 years. All right, we'll just go with
Yeah.
that. Math wasn't always my specialty in school, but I'm looking. I went through all your numbers, and I'm sitting here saying in 2016, your first year, you guys went 11-7. And now I look and I see 18-1, 19-2, 17-2. It's like the expectations when you're on top is like you can't lose a game. But it's like take yourself back to when you first got this job until where you guys are at now, and see how far this program has come since your first year. How special is that? And is it set in your head to say, I've been here for this many years? You're not the new coach anymore. You're the veteran coach now.
Yeah,
But have you
it's
given that some time to think about that? How, time you've been here and where you were your first year to where you guys are at now?
I mean, it's been a special journey, that's for sure. Um, have I thought about it? Yes. Kelly and I, since coming in together as day one, we've really grown together. And we've supported each other through tough times and high times. And but honestly, I wouldn't be where I am without her. So I like to think of us as like a duo, so to speak. But we reminisce a lot about the beginning. Remember those challenges that we faced early on, but there's still challenges now with a winning program. The expectations there, the players wanting to be on that field. There's different aspects of it. There's always a challenge to face, but I think that, what we've really tried to instill is just the culture that we want in this program. And it's not so much a winning culture. Like that's not the focus. Yes, you want to win. You're a varsity sport in high school. Your job is to win, but that's not what we look at every day. We're not going in being like, we have to win this game or we have to have a winning season, so to speak. For us, it's about the journey. It's the development of the players. It's the development of them as people and giving them life skills, communication skills, leadership skills, confidence. So many high school girls don't feel confident in what they can do. And we want
Mhm.
to, we want to instill that in them. And yeah, that translates onto the field, right? Because then they believe in themselves and they can achieve things and they can go through tough moments and come out winners, not necessarily on the scoreboard, but winners in terms of character, on the field. But I mean, there's a whole journey. I mean, I could be here for 20 minutes talking about, how we started 10 years ago and where we are now. But at the end of the day, it's a team effort. It's not about me. It's not about Coach Reese. It's not about Coach Zapp or Coach Mastracco or, Coach Sauce. It's about what we do together in this program and starting girls young with a youth program and then having them get to modified and understand that this is the culture of the program. Like Coach Sauce really takes the things that we're trying to instill at the varsity level and she starts it at modified. So it's not a culture shock, so to speak, or a surprise when all of a sudden you get to varsity and now things are different. No, this is just the expectation. And because we have high standards, because we, expect discipline and good sportsmanship and working on those leadership skills and developing players for the future, they know that's what's expected. And it's not because we're being mean, it's because we really care about them and we want them to be successful in life.
Well, you hit my last question. It was good to be on the youth level, and I know your modified girls had a really good season this year. I was over there because I
Yes.
was the football coach. I got a chance to see them every day, and then, even like in the summertime, like at the youth level, the little girls. I mean, my daughter's 9 years old, and I see a lot of younger girls now with sticks, and it's great to see. They got their RFA shirts on, which is even better to see. But I feel like
Yes.
field hockey's gotten so much bigger over the years. I mean, especially in Rome. When you talk about Rome, it was always RFA, and this is just me growing up, it was always RFA football and RFA field hockey. Like those
Hmm.
were the two sports. And when I played, we used to compete with the girls because we'd always say who was going to be the first team to lose on that turf because we never lost on that turf. So we always had the friendly competitions with the field hockey girls. But coach, it's so nice to see the little girls now, with
Hmm.
sticks in their hands because I think that's really cool. And I think like you said, that starts the program. Like that's the future of your program as they get older.
Yes, it is. And, we run stuff in the summer. We have our week-long camp in the summer. We do a little bit in the fall. Like this year we had, some of the youth girls be our ball girls at home games. We had a couple different like play opportunities for them to come out at like a halftime of the JV game to just play around for 8-10 minutes.
Yep.
We try to do our play day every year in the fall. And then in the off season, Coach Kate's done a great job of doing some like smaller stick skills and developing small game awareness and things in the off season with our K6 girls. So it's really starting to come into more of like a full year opportunity. Obviously not as consistent like you would with a high school sport, but just the fact that they can have a stick in their hand more, and they're hungry, they want to play, they want to be out there, even if it's just coming to practice. Like they wanna
Yep.
be with each other and they wanna learn these skills and they wanna have a stick and ball. And so we're providing those opportunities the best that we can within our own schedules in the season. But we're not the only program that's doing that. It's definitely a culture shift around here in Central New York, which is great to see because we all want to grow the game. We want to get more players involved because that's going to make all of our teams stronger, which is going to make our section stronger, and then it's going to make us stronger within the state. So um, it's about growing the game for these girls, giving those opportunities, and in the end, yes, it's going to benefit us within the RFA field hockey program.
I was really hoping that my daughter would pick up a stick. She did for a little bit. She's Kelly's daughter's age, Caroline's age, and
Okay.
she had a stick in her hand. My sister was really excited, saying she may have a field hockey person in the family. So I'm still trying to get a stick in my daughter's hand, but it's so nice to see these young girls in the future of the program. And I'm happy to be at RFA alum to follow your success and the team success. And you guys will get that state championship. You guys will make a run. You're set up for it. You're built for it. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to continue to see the progress and I know everybody in Rome, including myself, coach, we're proud of you.
Thank you so much. It means a lot. Real lot. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. Well, coach, listen, thanks for coming on. I had to try to hunt you down. My sister gave me your number, so hopefully you're not mad at me for
No,
that. But I had to hunt you down, but now I got your info, so I know we'll do it again soon.
that sounds great. Thanks so much. I appreciate it, Rocky.
Thanks, coach.
All right, take care.
So that was our fake coach, Mackenzie Welter. For I want to thank her for coming on, and I mean it's so cool to see the young girls. And I say the young girls. My daughter's 9. I was really hoping my daughter would have a stick in her hand, which she did for a little bit. But she likes soccer, so I'm not gonna argue with her. But it's nice to see the program start at that age and kind of continue on as they get older. Because as Coach said, that's the program. I mean, that's the program as they get older, and to see them start at that age is pretty cool to see. So thanks for Coach for coming on. I want to thank Coach Gary Heenan too for coming on with me this morning. It's nice to talk to Coach Heenan. Coach Heenan's been on with me for a long time, probably for the last 10 years. I would say he's been jumping on with me. So I want to make sure that I thank him for jumping on with me here this morning. So on behalf of the entire crew here, which I promise you, one of these shows we will have all the crew on here. We'll have the stat man, we'll have Coach Pags, we'll have Coach Medices. We'll have everybody on here. I promise you, it's tough to try to get everybody on here. Everybody's got their own schedules and stuff with the family, so I know it's tough. But I'll let you know on the next Utica University podcast. Will be next week. We'll talk to Coach Blaze Faziano. Again, I'm hoping they can punch their ticket to the NCAA tournament. Every poll I saw on Twitter last night says they're kind of on the outside looking in, but we'll wait to see. We'll cross our fingers. So we'll talk to him. I'll let you know what day that will be. So on behalf of the entire crew here at the Mohawk Valley Sportswatch, Coach Pags, Coach Medices, and the Statman, appreciate everybody tuning in today.